All right. Hello, everyone. Just wanted to welcome everybody to the Scrappy Doo classroom. Okay. And the reason why I wanted to come out with this quick little free live webinar here is just to, I know the Christmas season just ended. A lot of people just got their Cricut Explorers or Explore 1s, Explore Air 2s. And, you know, we're just going to go through some of the top 10 things that you should know as a brand new user, stuff that's available to you as a new user. And some of the things that I have seen in the Facebook groups and everything, of the common questions that are out there for these. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and get started with this. Now, if you have any questions, feel free to post them down below this video here. I'll be monitoring those so that we can hopefully get those questions answered. Now, by all means, is this video not going to, it's not going to answer every single question here, but I just went out there and picked out the top 10 things that I think that you would like to know as a new user. Okay, so all right. So number one is, you need to know what machine you have. I see a lot of people post questions, well, what does my model have? What is the difference in the models? I have some Christmas cash. Which model should I pick? So if you have one, that's great. If you don't know what kind you have, all you have to do is close your lid and it will tell you exactly which one you have. So basically, there's really 3 models out there currently for you to purchase. And, they are the Explore, the Explore 1, the Explore Air, and the Air 2. So the Explore, if you take a look over here, this was the first model that they came out with. But then right after that, they came out with the Explore 1. Then they had the Explore Air, and then now they have the Explore Air 2. So we're going to talk a little bit about the differences in these. Now, they have a lot of check marks here because they want to show you all the things that you can do. Now, I want to just basically tell you the main differences. Okay. So the Explore 1, if you open it up, you only have one head. Okay, and we're going to talk about the difference between one head and the dual heads here that we'll see here very shortly, because that's one of the top 10. If you're trying to decide which one you're trying to get. Now, the Explore Air, that has Bluetooth technology, okay, inside of it. Can the Explore 1 have Bluetooth? It can, and we're going to show you that here in a separate slide. Now, the Explore Air 2, that, like I said, that came out this year. It's got a nice, shiny head here, and it has Bluetooth as well. It has dual heads. However, the only difference between the Explore Air 2 and the Explore Air, you get the fast mode. What does fast mode do for you? Well, they say it can cut up to 2 times as fast. So I'm going to see if this link here works, and I'm going to go ahead and bring this in here, because I think it's a good chart to show, just because it can show you, the time that you could save if you had this machine. Now, is it worth the extra money? That's up to you to decide. Okay, so here it just tells you from point A to point B with fast mode off, because you can turn fast mode off, turn it on. On this model, you can see that it took the head to go there from point A to point B, 6.97 seconds. So that's what your normal Cricut Explorer 1 and the Explorer Air regular would do. So it would take about 7 seconds. With it on, now we're looking at 3.47. So they have several examples here of, the speed that it takes in order to complete its cycle. And that's how they get the 2 times. It's 2 times as fast on fast mode. Now, something to think about if you are thinking about purchasing the Air 2 just for speed and speed alone, that not all material will allow you to cut twice as fast. So keep that in mind as well. So it's all about your medium. People have talked about, is speed the main determining factor for this? And what other things can you do while your machine's cutting? Well, you can open up another window in Design Space and get the next project ready. So lots of things that you could be doing. Really, is speed that big of a deal? That's, like I said, for you to decide. So that's how you know what machine you got. Just close the cover and you'll be good to go. Now, mobile devices. This sort of gets into the Bluetooth, talking about this stuff. So I believe it was maybe a year and a half ago, that's when they came out with a mobile device for iOS, iPads, iPhones. This year, they came out for the US only, sort of a beta testing for the Android devices out there. So this is another question that newbies like to ask, and sometimes they say, well, can I use my iPad? Well, you can. Can you cut from your iPad? Well, you have to ask yourself, does your cutting device have Bluetooth in it? Because most iPads, iPhones nowadays automatically have the Bluetooth, and the Explore Air and the Air 2 are the only ones that have Bluetooth built into it. Can you get an Explore 1 with Bluetooth? You can. It's just a separate adapter that you do have to purchase. So that sort of thing needs to factor into your decision making if you're trying to choose which Cricut Explore machine that you would like to have. So Bluetooth adapter, it's needed for the Explore 1 and the original Explore. That's only if you plan on using your mobile device in order to cut directly to it. Okay, so what does that mean? If you don't have that Bluetooth adapter, that just means that you can design all you want all day on your mobile device. And then when you're ready to cut, you're actually going to have to use a computer. Okay, so that's what you need to do. Another thing that if people are coming from the Cricut Expression world, Cricut Create, and that kind of thing, you come from a cartridge world, and the Explore, all the Explore models have a slot for you to use it. But the question that you may think of is, well, what do I do with my keyboard? Well, for this, we're going to do a quick demo. Now, that slot that you saw on that Explorer there, you slide in the cartridge, and then you do what's called as linking. Hopefully, if you bought some cartridges off eBay, hopefully they didn't link it because you can only have one account, one cartridge linked per account. Once that link happens, that cartridge can no longer be tied to another person's email. So keep that in mind. So let's go ahead, do a quick demo of this, and what to do once you link your cartridges. Okay. Now, like I said, if you guys have any questions, feel free to post down below. That's where I'm monitoring the questions if you guys have any. All right. So inside Design Space, this is what's used to interact with your Cricut Explore machines. However, once you link your device, you need to find where those are, right? And you no longer need that little keyboard that comes with that. So you just click on Insert Images, and this big old laundry list appears. If you click on Cartridges, you can sort of filter this to see what cartridges you own. And if you go over here to the funnel, click Funnel, and you can click on Purchased. That's where they come from. So you can either purchase these online, or you can purchase them from the actual cartridge. Okay. So as you can see, what is linked to our account is the Valentine's Day, and of course the Cricut font and basic shapes. So that is what's tied to this account. So that's what it's used for. You don't need to have that little keyboard anymore. And when you want to use the shape or the item that's on there, you can just click on that and you can find the image that you are wanting and then click insert image. So that keyboard is no longer needed, and that's how you would use cartridges that you have. So make sure that you can link them, okay? And we got lots of videos out there to show you how to link cartridges, walks you through from putting it in there to actually putting it on underneath your account, all right? So that's how you can do that. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and leave. So we talked about the heads. Okay, so if you open up your Cricut Explore, Air 2, you open it up and this is what you see. So you got the one on over here. This is the Explore 1, only has one head. You got the Explore Air 2 that has two heads. So is two heads really better than one? Well, that's another decision that you're going to have to make. If you like the idea of dual head, what can you do with the dual head? Well, you can have the write, and then it will cut without you having to swap tools. You can score and cut with two heads without having to swap tools. But you can do the exact same thing with the Explore 1, as long as you don't mind, after you click the go button on Design Space, it's going to ask you for a pen. You plop the pen in there. After it gets done writing, it says, all right, the writing portion is finished. Go ahead and put in the blade. Now you're putting in the blade. So it's just how much is your time worth. With the Explore Air 2, all you have to do is click on go, and as long as you have the pen in there, the pen will write, and then you click on the on screen there. It's going to go ahead and cut as well, and you can knock without having to worry about swapping things out. So that's why the Explore 1 is a little bit cheaper. Not knocking it off, but that's sort of why it's designed out there for maybe the people that have the budget, or maybe that they don't even want to draw or score. They just want to cut. So that's where you would want to go with the Explore 1. All right. Number 5 here. Not all browsers work the same. Okay. So what does that mean? Well, the Cricut Design Space is very finicky. It may seem finicky to you. What they recommend is you use Chrome. However, you can see based upon the browser, really affects your print then cut area, because a lot of people may think, well, I have an 8.5 by 11. My mat's really huge. However, when you're trying to print from these from Design Space, unless your image is less than these, that's when we run into the issue of the print and cuts, maximum size of cutting. Okay, so you can see down here that the iPad app has the biggest space. Google Chrome has 5.5 by 8. Firefox has a little bit more, and compared to the Internet Explorer Safari. So also to go along with this, a lot of people don't know this as well. You may end up seeing some blurry windows, and that's why I have this here. Are you seeing blurry windows? Maybe you're living on the Edge. Edge is Microsoft Edge. It is not supported by Cricut Design Space. So if you're a brand new user, a lot of Windows 10 folks, they think that Microsoft Edge is the exact same thing as Internet Explorer that you see right here. Well, they're not. They're different. So keep that in mind if things aren't working properly, or maybe you see some, like I said, blurry windows. It's because that browser is probably not supported. It may work on some things, and then other days you're going to log into it, and that's what you're going to see. And you may get a little frustrated, but keep in mind that the only supported browsers are Google Chrome, Internet Explorer, Firefox, and Safari. So no Opera and no Microsoft Edge. All right, so here comes another issue for new users. All right, is getting this big old black screen here when you think that you uploaded the image correctly. So this usually happens because, you really don't know the true details on how to go about uploading an image. And I'm going to go ahead and walk you through one. And these images that I'm using today, they were found on Google Images. So you can use Google Images. I'm going to go ahead and create a new project, and you want to upload an image. And this is where this screen comes into play. I'm going to go ahead and click on Upload Image. Now, one of the best things to do when you're trying to find things and you're just trying to play around with this is to find silhouetted type of images. If I click Browse, I'm going to go to the folder where I downloaded it. Okay, so I'm going to do a quick baseball player. And one of the beauties of this is it already has a transparent background, so it's going to be very easy for this thing to trace. And just because it's got a black silhouette and a blank background, I can click Simple Image, hit Continue. Now, with this image, there's really not a whole lot of work to do. I mean, you have this magic wand here that erases things. However, nothing needs to be erased with this. So that's why I love PNG files with the transparent backgrounds. You can click on the preview button, and you can you can see what the cut's going to look like, and then you can click on Continue. Now, something that you'll see here is we didn't get that big black box, and that's great because that's what it should look like. At this point where you have the decision to make whether or not you want this to be a print then cut image or just a normal cut image. So it does make a difference when you are thinking about how you are going to cut this stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and click on Save, and it's going to be saved to my library where I can always access that from my iPad, from Design Space. As long as I'm logged in, I'll be able to see this stuff. Okay. Now, when it comes to that have white backgrounds, that's when you're going to have to do a little bit of work. All right. So here's one. I'm going to go ahead and click on Open. And it has a white background. Now, if something is very simple meaning, you have a white background and then just maybe one solid color. This works out great with a simple image. If you go too complex, that's when things start to look ugly. So I'm going to choose simple because it's just a couple colors. Now, a lot of people fail to go through, which is the select to erase, because if I click Continue, and I come over here, I see a big old black area. Even though it looks fine here, this is what it's going to cut, that big old box. So that's not what we want. I'm going to go ahead and go back. Use the magic wand. Now, like I said, this how you want this file to be, whether that to be a print and cut or just a normal cut, plays a special role right here. Because if I just want this to be a print and cut, I'm just going to click on the background here, and then I'm going to click Continue. I'm going to leave those parts white because I want them to be white when this thing prints. Now, if you're wanting this for maybe vinyl, that's when you want to click on the insides. So you click on the insides, you can see that they're disappearing, and that's how you can click Continue. And when we look over here, that big blue has now disappeared. I can click on this, and I can hit Save. And when I'm ready to add this to my project, I simply click this, or this, because we just did this one, and Insert Images. And there it is. It's right there on our Design Space layout here. All right. So hopefully that made sense for that. And I'm going to go ahead and go back to the presentation. So that's how you do the uploaded images. Okay. All right. So number 7, real quick. The different colored mats. Some folks really didn't understand what are the differences. So from left to right, you have light to your strong grip. Basically, this is your standard green. What's good for the light is your printer paper, thin cardstock. That way when you peel it off, it doesn't doesn't curl, doesn't rip, doesn't tear. Green's just for normal cardstock, vinyl. When you're talking the purple over here, that's your thick, heavy one, you know, where you want to use heavy cardstock, chipboard, poster board, that kind of stuff. Really strong grip so that it doesn't move when that blade's trying to go through it. So that's one of the newbie type of questions that get asked a lot once they get the Explorer. All right. Okay. Another question here that seems to pop up a lot is, hey, you know, husband just got me this Christmas gift of a Chromebook. How can I get it to work with Design Space? So right now, Design Space only works with the Windows-based computers as well as the Mac computers. So Chromebooks are out of the question for now. No idea if they're ever going to bring it, but I believe it has something to do with it not being the OS, and the Chromebooks are more those cheaper kind of books, because the OS doesn't cost so much, the operating system doesn't cost so much. So right now, no Chromebooks. Like I said, don't know if they ever will implement that, but I see that question a lot when it comes to the Facebook groups. Okay. All right. So let's go ahead and go on to number 9. So one of the questions I see a lot as well is subscriptions. So I know you get a free subscription when you first get a machine. That sort of gets you used to it. So it's called Cricut Access. It is a monthly plan. You can pay up yearly, and it gives you access to a lot of items to use in your projects. So in this example here, this lady, she has Cricut Access. She's on a monthly plan. She used an item from Cricut Access that she didn't have a cartridge for. So she saved her project. And as long as she still has Cricut Access, she can use that unlimitedly. Now, in this example here, she stopped her Cricut Access. She canceled the monthly service. She tries to reopen that saved project, and now she tries to cut that saved project, and depending upon the items that were used in it may cost her some money. So that's just the deal with that. Like we showed you before, that Valentine's cartridge is part of Cricut Access. However, we bought the cartridge, so we can still, even though we're not in the monthly monitoring service here for Cricut Access, we can still use those images because we own the cartridge. You can also not only pay for you can just pay for that simple shape. Most of them are like 99 cents. So, once you purchase it, it is yours to use without having Cricut Access. However, having Cricut Access does give you a lot of more options available to you as a Cricut Explore user. All right. Okay. So number 10 here, we're going to wrap this up with the Cricut Blades. Now, when your blade becomes dull, which one should you get? They both fit. The German carbide blade, the one that you see on the left here, it works. That's one that you need, or I would say you'd want. It is a premium blade, designed well with the Cricut Explorer, made for the Explorer. The other replacement blades that you're used to from maybe your Expression, they do work. However, you may see them dull a little bit faster. So I think it's just a couple more bucks to get the German carbide blade. I think that you'll see a difference, and that's the one that they recommend. However, they both work. They both work. Okay. All right. So that about wraps that stuff up for the newbies. Like I said, this is just real quick things that I could think of, real down and dirty. All right. Now, we also offer Cricut Design Space beginner courses. Okay, we have maybe over 2 hours of videos, and if you go to the classroom, scrappydoo.com, that's where you'll find this. Now, we have 2 versions out there. Okay, one is a paid version, one is a free version. What's the difference? Okay, well, the difference is the free version has ads in it. All right, same material, you just have to wait 30 seconds, a minute, 30 seconds for each lesson. Now, I will with the other one that's ads free, and I tell you, we've done a couple studies, is that you actually end up finishing the course if it's something that you paid for. A lot of time, energy has gone into these courses, but now we got one for both types of budgets out there. And if you use the coupon code of Cricut Lover, that saves you 50%. Now, also shortly after watching this, I'm going to be releasing some additional videos, materials. So you may want to refresh your account here, and that will give you some more videos that we recommend for the newbies out there. Going over simple SVG uploading, normal image uploading. And the videos that we chose was my son. He's 7 years old, and just showing you that if a 7-year-old can do it, certainly anybody can do it. Another thing that also helps us is subscribing to our YouTube channel. Like I said, we just passed a little over 10,000, and we're hoping to continually grow. So your subscribing does help us. And like I said, we produce videos. Maybe 2 videos a week, going over various things. If we see a need out there, a common question that people are asking, that's when we come up with a video to go over this thing. So thanks for watching, guys. I'm going to go ahead and cut this short. Not short. We're right at that half-hour mark, which is where I plan. But if there's not any questions, then I'm going to go ahead and sign off here. All right, feel free to share this video, share this course. Like I said, it's free. I'll let people sign up for it here for about 24 hours, and then after that, no more signing up. All right, so we'll talk to you later. Thanks for watching. Thanks for coming out. Bye.